Hello, and welcome to this webinar on Get Out the Vote. My name is Michael Jackson. I am the Digital Inclusion Coordinator, and this presentation is brought to you by New Mexico Black Leadership Council and New Mexico Black Voters Collaborative. GOTV is a nonpartisan campaign to increase voter turnout, and the GOTV efforts range from registering new voters to providing useful info to current voters during election season. National Voter Registration Day was September 17th, and the New Mexico Black Leadership Council voter registration agents were stationed on UNM's campus, making sure that we could get eligible voters registered to participate in this historical election. There were VRAs stationed all over the nation doing the same, um, so that we can increase voter turnout. So let's talk about voter eligibility. This is what is required for you to be eligible to vote in New Mexico. And I'll add that if you are a college student, you can register in your home state or you can register in the state where you are attending school. I would like to highlight this last bullet. A convicted felon who has satisfied all the terms and conditions of sentencing is now registered to vote in New Mexico. This is not the case in every state, so this is a fantastic way for New Mexico to stand out. Absentee ballots. This is a very busy slide. There's a lot of information here, but here are some of the quick hits. So there's a portal where you can download the application as long as you have a driver's license or state ID, but you will still have to submit it physically. So you download it, print it, submit the physical absentee ballot. If you don't have a state issued ID, then you can still mail a request for your application and they'll mail it to you. You can email a request and they'll email it to you. However, you are requesting the application, you have to do a physical submission. So you can mail in the absentee ballot, you can physically drop it off um, at the clerk's annex, or you can drop it off at a Dropbox location. Here are two of the Dropbox locations in Albuquerque. And if you don't live in Albuquerque, you can look up where there are other Dropbox locations scattered around the state. One thing I would like to emphasize is however you are submitting your absentee ballot, please have it submitted by October 22nd. And this is to ensure that the polls actually receive your ballot by November 5th by 7 p.m. on that day. So October 22nd is the deadline to have your absentee ballot submitted. One last thing about absentee ballots, if you go on nmvote.org, you can sign up to be a permanent absentee ballot voter. So typically during election season, you will have to apply for an absentee ballot, but New Mexico has an option where you can be a permanent absentee registered voter. Now, a lot of people use absentee ballots because they can't physically vote in person. There are a lot of barriers that prevent them from being able to go to a poll location and wait in line. And there are a lot of people who use absentee ballot because they know on the election day they won't be available. Luckily, New Mexico has an option for early voting. There are a lot of locations where you can do early voting. And I would like to add that if you haven't registered, there's still same day registration that is available wherever you can do early voting. So as far as same day registration is concerned, you need to have a photo ID and some official document that shows where your address is. As long as you have that information, you will be able to register and vote on these dates at these locations. And November 5th, which is election day, is also a day where if you haven't registered yet, you can register and vote. Here are important dates related to this election season. Indigenous Peoples Day, the clerk's annex will be closed. So between October 8th and the 18th, you can drop off your ballot there. But on Monday, October 14th, they will be closed for Indigenous Peoples Day. Again, absentee mail-in deadline, October 22nd. And again, on election day, which is November 5th, if you haven't registered yet, you can still do same-day registration and vote. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the Clerks Annex or you can reach out to us here at New Mexico Black Leadership Council. I hope you learned something, and I will see you at the polls.